Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm diving deep into how my portfolio did over March and April. We'll look at how the values changed, contributions made, dividend income received, and touch on the overall economy without getting too bogged down. I'll also explain briefly why I've been posting less lately.
Hey, I wish I was coming home to her.
Yeah, just wait till we hit Paris.
Starting off in March, my portfolio began at $16,741, which was the ending balance from February, and dropped a bit, finishing the month at $16,408, down around $332. While any drop isn't ideal, it's nothing too serious, especially considering everything happening in the economy right now. I stuck to my usual plan and contributed $305 this month. I kept it a bit lower than usual because I had to cover my car loan payment, but I still wanted to make sure I kept the habit going. For those curious, I'm actually on track to pay off my car in a year and a half instead of the original 4-year plan, which is a big part of why I've been keeping things tight some months. March was solid for dividends. I pulled in $94 in total, reinvested, and specifically I got $42 from SCHD, $28 from VU, and $23 from VYM. These dividends definitely helped ease the dip a bit and are why I invest heavily in dividend ETFs. I also saw some nice unrealized gains in March, totaling $565. SCHD gained $216, VYM was up $222, and VU added another $128. By the end of March, my allocation looked good, 49% in VU, 29% in SCHD, and 21% in VYM, setting my annual dividend income run rate at about $388. That wrapped up March on a steady note, even with a small drop in value. Jumping into April, things stayed pretty stable overall. The portfolio started at $16,409 and closed slightly lower at $16,288, dropping by about $121. Contributions were a bit higher this month, I had fewer expenses, and I worked a bit more, so I was able to contribute $402. No dividends rolled in, which made April feel quieter. Still, there were some modest gains, $94 in total, which was a noticeable drop from the $565 in unrealized gains I had in March. That $94 mostly came from VU, which was up another $168, and VYM gaining $97, but SCHG dragged things down a bit with a $171 loss. It definitely felt like a slowdown after March. I also ended April holding 16 shares of VU at an average cost of $504, 175 shares of SCHD at an average cost of $27, and 27 shares of VYM at an average cost of $121. In terms of market value, that breaks down to $8,337 in VU, $4,517 in SCHD, and $3,421 in VYM. By the end of April, my allocation shifted a bit to 51% VU, 28% SCHD, and 21% VYM, and my annual dividend income nudged up to $398. So overall, April was slow but controlled. The portfolio held its ground, and I kept at the pace on my end. The thing that stands out to me across these 2 months is just how sideways things have been. Even though the market was hit with news about tariffs and a GDP contraction, my portfolio barely moved from where it was at the end of February. It's been floating in this tight range, proof that even during periods of uncertainty and noise, staying the course works. It also reminds me that not every month is going to be explosive. Some months are just about showing up, whether that's contributing, reinvesting, and letting time do its thing. A slower month doesn't mean a bad one. It's just all part of the cycle, and these quieter stretches are where consistency matters most. It's not always about big jumps in value. Sometimes it's just about doing the small things, making your weekly buy, staying consistent, even if it doesn't feel exciting in the moment. That discipline adds up over time, and it's during stretches like this that I think you really learn the value of sticking with a plan even when it feels like not much is happening. My year-to-date return sits at negative 4%, but since I started this portfolio, I'm up about 11%. It helps put short-term pullbacks in perspective when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture. As we mentioned earlier, the US economy shrank by 0.3% in Q1, marking the first downturn in nearly 3 years, mostly because of rising imports ahead of new tariffs and less government spending, but consumer and business spending stayed pretty strong, which kept things from getting too shaky. Inflation cooled off nicely, with CPI dropping to an annual rate of 2.4%, easing a lot of nerves about persistent inflation. In response, the Fed decided to keep interest rates steady, choosing a cautious approach because of all the uncertainty, especially around new tariffs. Speaking of those, the big news was a 145% tariff on China in April, causing some short-term volatility as businesses scrambled to adjust. All this macro stuff definitely adds some pressure, but it hasn't changed my long-term view or how I manage my portfolio day to day. Now I want to quickly touch on why my uploads have slowed down lately. I work a full-time job, so most of the time I'm balancing 40-hour plus work weeks while still trying to make time for these updates and even deep dives. It's not always easy, but I care a lot about showing the journey and sharing it with you guys, especially as someone who's only 20 years old navigating both life and investing. The truth is, guys, I don't come from wealth. I started this with what I had, and I'm building it week by week, $1 at a time. I'm slowly getting back in the groove, and I've got a few things planned that I think you'll really like. That brings me to where things are headed next. Moving forward, my plan is the same as it's always been. Stick to the process. I'm going to keep adding money when I can, reinvest my dividends, and keep this portfolio growing 1 week at a time. Whether the market's up or down, the goal stays the same. It's not about timing things perfectly, it's about showing up week after week and trusting the bigger picture. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you got something from this, drop a like, hit subscribe with that notification button if you want to be notified when I drop. And feel free to show your portfolio, how it held up in these past couple months. I always enjoy hearing from you guys and just your perspective, so it's nice to hear that. Anyways, guys, I love y'all, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Why are you fucking with me? Why are you fucking with me? Why are you fucking with me? Huh? Get the fuck back to work!